Today, we're reviving 12 ghost legends from Florida, spine-tingling tales that still echo through the Sunshine State. Number 1. Elizabeth Jane Bellamy. Deep in the quiet pine forest near Marianna stands Bellamy Bridge, a weathered relic tied to one of Florida's oldest and most enduring ghost stories. In the early 1830s, Elizabeth Jane Bellamy was a young bride, radiant with hope as she prepared to start a new life with her husband, Dr. Samuel Bellamy. But on their wedding day, tragedy struck. Her gown brushed against an open flame, igniting instantly. Samuel tried desperately to save her, but the fire spread too quickly. Within days, Elizabeth succumbed to her injuries. The loss shattered Samuel. Friends recalled how he wandered the area in grief, his once bright spirit dimmed. He died only a few years later, and locals say his soul joined hers near the bridge. Soon, travelers began reporting strange sights. A glowing white figure drifting silently across the old wooden planks, her dress billowing as though moved by an unseen wind. On fog-heavy nights, the air along the trail turns unnaturally cold. Some claim to hear a faint weeping, or to see her shimmering form vanish into the swamp, leaving only ripples in the black water. Others insist she appears with arms outstretched, as if searching for someone she's never found. Today, Bellamy Bridge is a stop along the scenic Chipola River Trail, but those who linger after dark feel its history pressing close. Whether a spirit bound by love or sorrow, Elizabeth Jane Bellamy's presence reminds visitors that some stories are too powerful to fade. Number 2. Wickademus. Amelia Island is known for its pristine beaches and colorful history, but it also holds the chilling legend of Wickademus, a ghostly woman said to wander the shoreline in search of her lost love. The story begins in the 1700s, when Amelia Island was a prize fought over by pirates, the Spanish and the British. Wickademus was the daughter of a Spanish soldier, beautiful and strong-willed, and she fell deeply in love with a British officer stationed nearby. Their romance was dangerous, crossing both political and cultural divides. The two planned to escape together, but before they could, Wickademus was caught. Her father forbade the union, locking her away in a coastal fort until the officer left the island. Some say she managed to escape, running barefoot to the beach where she waited for him to return. He never came. Whether lost at sea or slain, no one knows for certain. Heartbroken, she disappeared into the waves, her fate sealed by grief. Since then, islanders have told of a woman in a flowing white dress walking the shore at dusk. Her long dark hair whips in the ocean wind, her gaze fixed on the horizon. Witnesses say she leaves no footprints in the sand, and her image shimmers like heat on the water. Some fishermen claim she calls to them in Spanish, her voice carried over the waves, only to vanish when they answer. Even now, on quiet evenings when the tide is low and the sea glows silver under the moon, locals say Wickademus appears, forever pacing the beach she once ran to in hope, searching for a ship that will never arrive. Number 3. Lake Eola Ghost Dog. In the heart of downtown Orlando, Lake Eola is a place of swan boats, picnics, and peaceful views. But when night falls, a much stranger tale takes hold. Locals whisper about the Lake Eola ghost dog, a spectral black hound said to roam the park's shoreline, startling those who walk there after dark. Its origin is uncertain, but the legend traces back over a century to when the lake was bordered by rough farmland and dirt paths. One story claims the dog belonged to a drifter who camped near the water. The animal was fiercely loyal, protecting its owner from anyone who came too close. One winter night, a violent storm swept across the area. The drifter vanished without a trace, and days later, the dog was found lifeless near the shore, as if it had refused to leave its master's last known spot. Not long after, strange sightings began. People spoke of a large black dog with glowing eyes appearing suddenly in the mist, then vanishing without sound. Joggers late at night described hearing paws behind them, only to turn and find nothing there. Others claimed the dog's reflection could be seen in the lake even when no animal was nearby. Today, most visitors see Lake Eola only as a scenic landmark, but locals know to be wary when the fog rolls across the water. Those who have looked into the ghost dog's eyes say it's not threatening, just lonely, as though still guarding the place where it once waited for its lost friend. Number 4. Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse Ghost. Standing tall against the Atlantic, the Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse has guided ships since 1860, but it also holds a reputation for being haunted. Built on a bluff once used by Native Americans, the lighthouse has weathered hurricanes, wars, and tragedy. Its ghostly tale centers on a keeper from the late 1800s, a man devoted to his duty who met a mysterious end. According to old accounts, the keeper died suddenly in the tower, some say from a fall, others from illness brought on by isolation. Soon after, strange happenings began. The oil lamps would light themselves, tools would move, and heavy footsteps echoed in the spiral stairwell when no one was there. Several keepers quit unexpectedly, refusing to spend another night inside. Over time, the legend grew. Visitors have claimed to see a tall figure in a dark uniform standing silently at the top, staring out to sea. His form flickers in and out of sight, like a mirage against the beacon's glow. Some believe he is still keeping watch, unwilling to abandon his post even in death. Others think the land itself, steeped in centuries of human history, keeps his spirit tied there. Today, the lighthouse is a historic site open to the public, and while many climb its stairs for the view, a few leave with more than photographs. They speak of sudden cold spots, the faint smell of lamp oil, and the sense of being quietly observed. Whether guardian or restless soul, the keeper of Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse remains, watching the waves as he has for more than a century. Number 5. Lady in White. For more than a century, the streets near Lake Eola in downtown Orlando have carried whispers of the Lady in White, a ghostly figure said to glide silently under the street lamps in the stillness of night. She's always dressed in a long, flowing white gown, her pale face half hidden by a delicate veil, and her dark eyes fixed straight ahead. Many believe she was once a young woman in the early 1900s, tragically struck by a carriage, or later an automobile, while walking home from a grand dance. Her presence has been reported by ordinary citizens and police officers alike. Officers on patrol have described her drifting through intersections, vanishing when headlights strike her. Some pedestrians have tried to call out to her, only to watch her fade into nothing. It is said she appears most often on misty nights, as if the fog itself carries her back to the place where her life ended. Over the decades, no official records have confirmed her death, but the legend continues because sightings never stopped. Residents say she seems drawn to older brick buildings, quiet side streets, and the reflective waters of Lake Eola. There are those who swear they've seen her pause on the water's edge before fading away, as if she's still looking for something or someone she lost. Whether she is searching for a lost love or simply trying to find her way home, the Lady in White remains one of Orlando's most enduring and unsettling figures, a reminder that even the heart of a modern city can still belong to the ghosts of its past. Number 6. Bloody Bucket Road Babies. In Hardy County, a quiet stretch of dirt known as Bloody Bucket Road carries one of Florida's most chilling ghost tales. Locals say that in the late 1800s, a midwife living nearby began to change in frightening ways. Some claim she believed she was saving babies from lives of hardship, while others say her cruelty knew no reason. Whatever the truth, the legend insists she drowned the newborns she delivered, dropping them into the river until the water ran red. As the story goes, the midwife was eventually consumed by guilt. She was seen wandering the road, muttering to herself, insisting she could hear the cries of the infants. When she died, the community hoped her memory would fade, but it didn't. Travelers began to hear the same ghostly wails when passing the area at night. Some say they have seen pale, infant-like shapes in the shadows near the banks, vanishing when approached. The most unsettling reports tell of the river itself turning red under the moonlight, as though the past bleeds into the present. Drivers have stopped their cars, believing something was wrong, only for the water to return to its normal dark flow within seconds. Historians doubt all the grisly details, but the road's name, its eerie reputation, and the chilling consistency of these encounters have made Bloody Bucket Road an infamous part of Florida folklore. For many, it's not just a place, it's a warning that some tragedies refuse to stay buried. Number 7. Lady in Blue. The Castillo de San Marcos, with its massive coquina stone walls and 4 centuries of history, is the oldest masonry fort in the continental United States. It has seen battles, sieges, and personal dramas. But one story is told more than any other: the Lady in Blue. Her tale begins in the 1700s, when Spanish soldiers garrisoned the fort. Among the officers was a colonel, whose young wife, known for her beauty and love of blue dresses, caught the attention of a young soldier. Rumors say the two began a secret romance. When the affair was discovered, they vanished almost overnight. Decades later, during renovations in the 1800s, workers uncovered a sealed room deep in the fort with skeletal remains. Locals whispered that the colonel had entombed them alive, and that the Lady in Blue's spirit has wandered the fort ever since. Visitors report seeing her on the gun deck at dusk, her gown glowing in the fading light as she gazes over Matanzas Bay. Others smell a faint perfume drifting on the breeze, or feel a light touch on the shoulder when no one is there. Guards have heard footsteps echo in locked corridors, only for the sound to stop abruptly. Though the details remain unproven, sightings have never ceased. For many, the Lady in Blue is more than a ghost story. She is the lasting memory of love and betrayal, her presence etched into the very stones of St. Augustine's most famous landmark. Number 8. Sarasota's Lost Love Ghost. In the roaring 1920s, the Bay Haven Hotel was one of Sarasota's most elegant retreats. Guests came from all over to enjoy its charm, but one young woman became its most unforgettable resident. She was engaged to a sailor, and each day she would walk to the veranda in her finest gown, scanning the horizon for his ship. Locals remembered her standing by the water's edge, eyes fixed on the Gulf, filled with hope. Her joy turned to heartbreak when news arrived that his ship had gone down in a sudden storm, with no survivors. Friends urged her to leave, but she stayed, convinced he might still return. Days turned into weeks, and then months, yet she remained at the hotel, her hope slowly fading. She eventually passed away there, still waiting for the man she loved. Not long after, guests began reporting strange encounters. Some heard soft footsteps outside their doors in the dead of night, only to find no one there. Others felt a sudden rush of salty air in closed rooms, or caught a glimpse of a woman's reflection in the window, dressed in an evening gown, staring toward the sea. On rare nights, she was seen at the very same upstairs window, hand resting on the glass. Though the Bay Haven has changed over the years, her story lingers. Locals say that on stormy nights, when the wind howls like the night her fiancé was lost, the lost love returns to her watch, forever searching the horizon for the ship that never came home. Number 9. Henry Flagler. Henry Flagler, the oil tycoon who transformed Florida's East Coast in the late 1800s, built the luxurious Ponce de Leon Hotel in 1888. It was a marvel of its time, with Tiffany glass windows, imported marble, and electric lights when most of the country still relied on candles. Believing it could become a world-class resort destination, yet even in death, it seems he never left. Guests and staff at what is now Flagler College often speak of a tall, distinguished man in a white suit, strolling the grand hallways or standing quietly in the lobby. His presence is said to bring a strange mix of awe and unease, as if he's inspecting the hotel to ensure it still meets his standards. Some students claim to have heard footsteps echoing in empty corridors or doors opening on their own late at night. One of the most reported sightings occurs near Flagler's former office. Visitors have seen him gazing out a window toward the city he helped shape, his expression unreadable. Some believe he appears most often when the building undergoes changes, as though checking that his vision is respected. Whether he lingers out of pride, duty, or a reluctance to leave his life's work, Henry Flagler's ghost remains an elegant yet watchful figure in St. Augustine's history. And perhaps, if you walk the halls on a quiet night, you might feel the faint presence of Florida's most powerful dreamer still keeping guard. Number 10. Robert the Doll. In the early 1900s, a young boy named Robert Eugene Otto received a life-size doll from a servant in his Key West home. Made of cloth and stuffed with straw, the doll wore a sailor suit and clutched a small toy dog. He was given the boy's first name, Robert, and soon became more than just a toy. Young Gene spoke to Robert constantly, and according to family and neighbors, the doll spoke back. Over time, strange events unfolded. Furniture would be found overturned. Objects vanished. Neighbors swore they saw the doll moving from window to window when the family was away. Gene insisted Robert was to blame, often saying, "Robert did it." The boy grew up, but he kept the doll into adulthood, giving it its own place in his home. Visitors reported feeling uneasy in Robert's presence, as if the button-eyed figure was silently watching. After Gene's death in 1974, Robert was donated to the Fort East Martello Museum, where he remains today. But the strange activity didn't stop. Museum staff claim Robert changes positions, and electronic devices malfunction in his presence. Letters from around the world now surround his display. Apologies from those who believe they were cursed after disrespecting him. To this day, visitors are warned to ask Robert's permission before taking a photo. Those who don't sometimes report streaks of bad luck, a chilling reminder that in Key West, one of the most famous haunted objects in America still holds his eerie reputation. Number 11. George, the Disney haunted ride welder. Disney World is famous for its bright smiles and magical memories, but behind the scenes, even it has ghost stories. One of the most persistent is about George, a welder said to have died in a construction accident while building the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in the early 1970s. His name never appears in official records, yet cast members talk about him as if he's still on the payroll. Only now, his job seems to be causing mischief. For decades, workers claim George makes his presence known when he's ignored. Lights flicker, animatronics freeze mid-scene, and ride systems mysteriously shut down without explanation. As a result, a long-standing tradition formed. Every morning, staff greet George over the intercom before opening, and every night they say goodnight before leaving. Those who skip this ritual often find the next day plagued with technical problems. Some cast members swear they've glimpsed a shadowy figure walking the ride's catwalks after hours. Others report hearing footsteps in empty maintenance areas or catching the faint clang of metal tools when no one is working. Even guests occasionally notice strange cold spots while their boat glides past the ghostly caverns, leaving them with the uneasy feeling they're being watched. Whether George is a true spirit or just a legend kept alive by tradition, his story has become part of the ride's magic. In a park built to make people believe in fantasy, George remains one of its most enduring mysteries, a reminder that sometimes the magic might just have a ghostly hand behind it. Number 12. Osceola. Osceola, the Seminole leader who fiercely resisted U.S. forces during the Second Seminole War, was captured under a flag of truce in 1837, an act many consider a deep betrayal. He was held at Fort Marion, now the Castillo de San Marcos in St. Augustine, before being sent to Fort Moultrie in South Carolina, where he died in 1838. Yet some say his spirit returned to the stone fortress where his freedom was stolen. Visitors and park rangers alike report seeing a tall Native American man in traditional clothing, standing silently in the fort's dim corridors. His presence is often described as commanding, yet sorrowful, as if carrying the weight of both leadership and loss. He is most often spotted near the old prison cells, his figure vanishing when approached. On still nights, some have heard the soft tread of footsteps along the coquina walls, or faint, rhythmic drumming echoing across the courtyard. Others describe hearing a low chant in an unfamiliar tongue, carried on the salty wind from the nearby bay. Certain rooms grow unnaturally cold, even in Florida's summer heat, as if holding on to the moment of betrayal. To many, Osceola's ghost is more than just a restless soul. It's a living reminder of the promises broken to his people. In the centuries-old stone of the Castillo, his presence ensures that visitors not only see history but feel it, lingering in the air long after they leave. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.